Hello everyone. So this is one of the video of the one question a week series, right? That will be there on the defactolaw.in as well as this YouTube channel De Facto Law. That I will be, giving you hint how to write answers for one question each day, and also I will be providing with the model answer of that particular question, right? The structuring and how to write it. Okay. So modeling you will be getting in the de facto law, because here we cannot write in the YouTube video the whole model, right? But the video portion is here, right? And also if you want, you can submit some of the answers, right? And obviously in the comment section I will try to give the feedback that how well it is written. Obviously not exact checking, but at least the feedback I can provide. Okay. Now see, this is the question that we are discussing, that is related to eminent law, that is the constitutional law. See, eminent domain doctrine in the constitutional law. The question is a previous year question, right? That what do you mean by, what do you understand by the term eminent domain, and discuss its relevance in the present day context, right? Now how to frame that answer? You must be knowing about this particular eminent doctrine, but this part of the question, that is the second part, is more important, right? See, how will you structure it? The first you will talk about the doctrine, right? Right, that how it is a common law doctrine, evolution of the common law doctrine, where the king used to command all the land, and all the people who were cultivating on that land were cultivating on the behalf of the king, and they used to pay rent. In India also in the Mughal time the same thing used to happen, right? You have to pay rent on to the king, because it was considered that the land ultimately is owned by the king. Understood? The same thing happens today also. Obviously you have property rights, right? But basically you pay taxes on it, right? So basically it is one of the manifestation of the eminent domain. Understood? So obviously you don't need to write that, but you have to write that what do you mean by this particular doctrine, right? So how it is from the common law. Second, you write the exact legal maxim related to it, right? So you must be knowing that there is a two legal maxim that talks about common law. One is your salus populi supreme lex esto, meaning welfare of the people is the paramount law. Meaning if your land can be taken for the welfare of the people, then it will be. Okay, your individual welfare do not takes into account, right? Comes into account. And second is that public necessity is greater than the individual necessity, right? Necessita public major est quan, right? So that is the second legal maxim, right? So writing legal maxim, right? You can write this particular doctrine is based on these two legal maxim, right? And little bit explain about that legal maxim. Okay, so that covers your first part. Okay, so you have covered the philosophical aspect as well as the meaning of the legal doctrine, right? Then you can slightly add in this itself that how this doctrine have been manifestation in different statute in India, right? So two statute manufactured you can specifically cite. One is the acquisition of land statute, right? Right, and second is the taxing power of the state. So taxing power versus eminent domain. Okay, so that is also again one of the manifestation, right? So that part will almost cover 10 to 12 line, right? So it was a 20 marker question, so obviously you have to write more than 40 45 lines. Okay, so that is the 10 to 12 lines that you will talk about there. Okay, then you will be talking about in the second part of the answer, right? You can go for 15 also. Second part of the answer, which will be almost half of the answer, is basically you will be talking that its relevance, right? Now this is a current affair part, right? So this question was asked because of various land related laws that have been passed in India, right? So its relevance meaning what, right? So when the relevance is asked, it is basically asking you your opinion whether this doctrine have been used, use is justified or not. Okay, right? So obviously you will connect this particular doctrine with the law, right? And then you will give your opinion. So do one thing, connect it with two law. First, your Land Acquisition Act, right? How far it have created problem, because you can write the argument that in a democracy there is no absence of king, so having the ramification of this eminent domain doctrine makes no sense. Understood? Okay. Second, you can write down that even if we are a democracy, ultimately greater good is more important. Okay, so the two aspect of it you can write, right? Similarly, you can talk about the police power of the state and the eminent law doctrine, meaning the state have authority to acquire a particular land for the purpose of conducting the business of the government, right? Understood? So write any law related to it, right? Easement Act you can talk about, Property Act you can talk about, right? Property Act is mainly for the land, okay? If you want, you can add third law related to taxing, Income Tax Act, that is a taxing power, right? So you can include that, right? So that will cover almost 10 to 12, right? So you don't need to go into much detail. Simply writing the law and connection with the eminent law doctrine is okay, right? Then the last aspect, that is the conclusion part, that you will talk about that how this eminent domain doctrine have created problem in India, right? Right? Meaning how the courts have interpreted it. Okay? So you are basically arguing the relevance of this doctrine in eye of court, right? So there are 2-3 important case laws that provides that even if there is a law provided for acquisition of property, right, then that acquisition is subject to some limits. Understood? Now property law, you must be knowing, is very important. Most of the constitutional cases started due to property law, specifically the land acquisitions. Okay, case Manand Bharti or Sankri, anything, any Sankri Prasad, ultimately it is related to property law, right? So the conclusion, we will talk about this itself, that is your case laws and court argument on relevance, right? And the main argument is this itself, that in spite of having eminent domain doctrine, the state do not have the unlimited authority. Understood? And that is how we will conclude the answer. Okay, so it is a very simplistic question, 20 marker question. Easily you can get 12, 13, 14 marks in this. Okay, done. And I have, as I already told in the beginning, I have provided you with some of the answers, model answers. You kindly go through it, as well as the concept of eminent domain. There is a concept itself given on the website as well, right? defactolaw.in. So you can go and visit that as well. Okay, so that will be all for this. Thank you very much.